Hi, Darrell Crow here with another lesson for you from our Colorado series. Today, I'd like to take you on a little vacation. There's nothing more than a good day of fishing that I enjoy. But you know something, no matter what your passion is, no matter where you like to vacation, it's hard as an artist to go anywhere without thinking, what kind of a painting could I make out of this event? What kind of a painting could I make as a memorandum to this particular occasion? And such was the story the day I went fishing last September in Colorado with a bunch of good artist friends. And what you see beside me is what I call a happy day, because I don't care what the weather's like outside. If you're fishing, it's obviously a happy day. So let's just take a look at how we came about it. I want to spend a few minutes going over all of the photos and the thinking process that I went through in order to arrive at the particular composition that I did. Now, you know, we take a lot of photos, and I always travel with either the telephone camera or with a digital camera, in which I can take hundreds of photos if necessary, just so I can capture detail, and I try to even capture the composition with the camera. So I'd like to take you through that step, because that's one of the first steps you go through in composing your own particular painting. So let's take a look at our photos. Well, I had a good friend, Paul, and Ken, and Carol, and Sandy, who took me up to a place called Estes Park. It's about 2 hours, anywhere from an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Denver. And it's a beautiful lake, and this is one of the pictures right actually from where we were fishing if you look right. So that's one particular photo that I thought had a lot of potential. I took a lot more photos than what I'll be showing you. Now here is the reason Lake Estes is so world famous. You see that little hotel right back there? That's where Jack Nicholson filmed in The Shining. And I think we all ran around that day yelling, "Red rum, red rum, red rum." But as you can see, this could make a beautiful painting. And I almost decided to go like this and use this, because that lone chair out there with those two fishing poles is just really a great setup. And you can do something like that to indicate fishing without actually having a person in here. And so anyway, Paul, that's Sandy's husband, just ducking out of the way there. And I think he's putting a worm on his hook. But you can see the mountains, and then there's another mountain range that goes right back there. So this was a high candidate. Let me show you another one. Okay, a lot of times, just to show a fishing, you can just have a guy sitting there. This is Ken, and there's a couple of fishing poles just sitting there. That guy can catch fish out of where the fish have never been before. He's a pretty good fisherman. All right, now this is another scene where you're looking down. If I was going to compose it a little bit better, I'd have had Paul sit further back or Ken sit further forward, just so you can, because the beautiful details of that back mountains and everything across that blue lake, that is a gorgeous possibility right there. But even if the photo doesn't come out right, we had that other detailed study of Ken, so we could have moved him right over there. So this is one of the potentials I had. So that was two potentials. Let me just go ahead and show you in the next photo. It's always nice to have friends along. Here's Sandy and Carol. They're waving at every one of you guys and just saying, "Hey, have a good time. Come to Colorado." In fact, we'll be going back there again and just after Labor Day. On the other side of the lake, you get to see this beautiful mountain range over here. There's several different mountain ranges back there, some of them towering over 14,000 feet. But in the last photos, we were sitting there. So that means just right over here is where the Red Rum Hotel was standing. Now, I almost did this painting, but I decided not to, since even though it's got a hint of some fishing going on, it's a beautiful marine painting in the Colorado Lake there. So that was a fourth potential. But I hadn't really gotten the one I wanted. And then I went back and took this photo. I took quite a few photos around here, just get all the details of the hills and what have you. They're all potential paintings, okay? See, there's another one where we got to see the snow line up there. And those mountains are 14,000 feet. It's hard to believe. We're sitting at about 7,000 feet right now. Now, this was a photo that Sandy snapped of me fishing, and I liked that photo. And I thought, well, if we cut it down, and there was another photo of those big mountains in the background, and I thought maybe we could take these two photos right here. There's one of me sitting or standing right there fishing, and then you see this beautiful scene with the picnic area, and then the mountains, and the lake is right back there. I said, gee, this almost captures perfectly the kind of painting I like to put together. What if I put the two together? Okay, so that's what I did. And if you take a look at that, see, here's the two photos you just saw. And then I cut them in half, all right? And I stuck the mountains right on top of where I'm fishing. And that's how I created the particular scene. So you can do that a lot. There's nothing there that will stop you from doing that. In order to preserve the Fisherman, which was me, what I did is I blew the Fisherman up to the exact size I wanted, and then with contact paper I cut them out. And I just stuck it right on the bare canvas, and then just go ahead and paint it until it was time. Now, what's so very important is that as you paint along, one of the things I like to do is I have a software program called Microsoft Publisher. It's a layout tool, and there are many of them on the market. It doesn't matter which one. But you can tell them the actual canvas size, which was 18 inches by 24 inches. And so what I did is print it out, combine the two photos together into one, and then print it out an exact duplicate of what I wanted. See how it matches the canvas size? So with that in mind, I'm now able to constantly compare what I'm doing to what I want. And as you can see, there's the riverbank. I made the bushes a little bit higher, and that did a good job of breaking up the horizon line. But the mountains are exact. The foothills are there. See this cloud here? See this cloud here? All of it worked out very well, but you got to constantly be referring back to your original. Okay, now besides having photos like this, I now needed detailed reference photos. So let me show you the reference photo chart that I put up. Well, here's the reference photos that I have standing right beside my easel while I'm creating my painting. And I like to have them there because I can see some major definitions, and like in the mountains, you know, basically this outside shape, how do the mountain range or hill range in front of it look, and that gives me the detail I'm looking for. And I like blowing them up big so I can put them right up there. So the first thing I did was join the photos together, blew it up to this size for reference, and then I have a huge sheet of paper which I'll just show you in a second. I think you get the idea of how important it is to have this. That way I can look at all the detail. Now, one of the things that you need to do is measure. You know, from here to the bottom of the canvas is 24 inches. So all you have to do is measure with a ruler how long your figure is. And then that's the size you blow it up to, and you can have a nice cutout made then and just put it right into that approximate position on the canvas with the contact paper. So this is one of the nicest ways I know of keeping everything into perspective. Okay, let's go back to this other board, if you will. Now, what I did in this was a little more than blow it up. I actually changed the brightness level so I could see all the detail, because the figure, in my opinion, was a bit dark. And so I really blew it up because I wanted to see the details of the jacket, where the arms actually were, how the hands were holding, and how the legs and the shoes and everything were going together. And so I blew this up even larger than what I had wanted, just so I can see all that detail. I'm not too sure how much of that detail I'm going to be using in the painting at the time of composition, but I want to be prepared, because as I go along, I didn't want to stop for a couple of hours to go through a photographic process. Now, I have here the cutout master that I use, and this is on our pattern database. This is backwards, but you can flip it this side and you can have the Fisherman on the left side of the bank, or you can turn it over and it'll be on the right side. So it doesn't really matter. But what matters is making sure that you put it on the correct side of the contact paper so it'll match the direction you want, because contact paper is sticky only on one side. Now, I didn't worry about the pole, just about the handle, okay? And I put a couple of marks here where I thought we either went dark or light, or I would have folds, okay? So these are the sorts of things that you've got to be concerned about when you develop your own particular pattern. I wanted to photograph here the mountain peaks and range because there are three things I wanted to know. Number one, I wanted to preserve this outside shape. That outside shape is absolutely critical in the definition of this painting in my mind and for me to remember. The second thing is I wanted to know how the hills were working. And it was by doing this blow up that I realized there was another hill back there. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can't really see. Like in the previous photographs, I thought this was part of that mountain. And I actually did when I was over there. But when I blew this photo up, I see that this is just another hill. And we have one here and we have one here. So there's a lot you learn just by blowing the photo up and spending some time looking at it. Now, this is not a photograph of the actual mountain range. It's part of something I was on my original as I was putting it together. I kept looking around, and every now and then the mountains would, or the clouds would lift a little, and I'd see another mountain range back there. And even though I'd taken my reference photos, I just was amazed at how many layers of mountains there were. So what I decided to do was just to put, even though I couldn't see them with the camera, and it was too cloudy at the time, just to put additional mountains up there. And I did a very, very light one, a little bit darker over here, and then finally we had the original one that I had done. And I think you'll find that as you are doing your particular paintings, you're going to get an inspiration like that and say, wouldn't it be nice? Well, my advice is anytime you go, wouldn't it be nice, go ahead and do it. I also took the original photos and blew them up to an 8x10 that inspired me on this painting to begin with. A lot of times you go on vacation, you have a lot of friends with you, they take photos. It's no problem. Ask them if they'll send you copies if you can use it, and chances are they'll say yes. This helps you preserve the original atmosphere of what you had been doing. So I have the photo of me fishing, and I have the photo of this beautiful mountain range behind the picnic area. So these are always kept on my reference board. Well, now, I think you have a better idea how I go about designing a particular painting. Now, in the Colorado series, we've got 16 paintings, and I went through the same process on each and every one of them. And today, we're releasing 4 brand new paintings never released before. They're already on our You Can Paint Club. And if you're already a member, a monthly member, or if you're a lifetime member, we've made lifetime membership so attractive now. You can actually start to view these films right now as we're talking. And so I think you're going to have a good time. Now, if you're not a lifetime member or a monthly member of the youcanpaintclub.com, and you'd like to be, I'm going to invite you to www.darrellcrow.com. And the most important thing about that is I'm going to give you a special reduction. Now, I normally sell these 4 films for $24.95 each. So that means for the 4, it'd be $100. But since we're just introducing the Colorado series, since you've been following me as a student or an interested party, or you're a subscriber to my YouTube channel, what I'm going to do is give you the whole kit and caboodle, all 4 of them, for $39.95. I know, and it's going to last for about a week. So you just go ahead Go on down to darrellcrow.com and you can order yours own. But you know, if you'd like to also have access to nearly, well, now it'll be 254 videos. It was 250. But if you'd like access to over 500 hours of educational how to paint videos on oil painting, acrylics, or water miscible oils, we've got a special. Our normal price is $297, but I'm going to give it to you for $197. So we have four releases total over the next 3 months on our Colorado collection. So by that alone, you'd be spending $120. So when you think about $120 on one hand for just 12 videos, 16 videos, and you think about 250 videos, 197, well, I think you can make a good decision which one you'd like to do. But you know, it doesn't matter. We're here to serve you. We're here to help you. We're here to help you learn to paint. That's really the only thing that matters. I'm just giving you different ways that you can learn. Send me an email, attach a photo of what you've done. I'm Darrell Crow, and yes, you can paint.